Hi all, it's CJ here. Just pondering on life a bit. I've been on my own all weekend, which is nothing new, but when it's a bank holiday weekend, I don't know, it kind of makes it a bit harder for me. But I've just been pondering on life a bit. And there's quite a few celebrity people that have... Oh, microphone falling down. My set's always falling down, isn't it? That's just me. Let's put that back. There seems to be, to me, a lot of celebrities having children very young. Fabulous, good for them. But then they're saying, and I know you can't believe everything you read, but I'm reading in my magazines this whole section about celebrity mothers expressing how hard it is being a mother. I admittedly was a lot older when I became a mum, not by choice. I didn't go into it with rose-coloured spectacles at all. There was very little information out there though, because it was pre-internet. But I had no preconceptions about this is going to be good or bad. I just felt I'd prepared as well as I possibly could. And I think even if you're the most maternal person in the world, when you've first given birth, you're like a fucking fish out of water. You're tired, you're stressed, the baby cries a lot. If you're breastfeeding, that's hard. It is really hard. And admittedly, I've only had 2 children. I was desperate to breastfeed them. One I succeeded, the other one I didn't. But on my experience, it's the baby knows what to do or not. I think it's a joint thing between... I tried so hard with my first baby, I made myself ill. But it just didn't happen. And it turned out my baby was crying non-stop because of being in pain, because of being allergic to my milk and formula. As soon as we put soya, stop crying. My second, I literally, it's used to be your choice. If you immediately, once you've delivered, you have the baby put skin to skin on you directly, which is what I did with my second. And I literally only minutes earlier given birth, and I looked down and she was on. And I was like, oh, right, okay, great. But these are celebrity people that have family and can afford to have a nanny in to help them if they want to. And looking for sympathy that they're so tired just doesn't wash for me. I managed alone, and it really is hard. There's nothing easy about it, and nobody ever said parenting is easy. I've never heard anyone say parenting is easy. And I'm not a sheep. I don't follow what everyone else does. One of my most viewed videos was the should and could, where I just talked about, should I be sending my child to a club because everyone else does it? Or do I not send my child because they don't want to go? And I don't know how much attitudes have changed, obviously, because I'm so old. But the amount of times I was told my son should be playing football. Why should he? He never liked football, ever, from day one. Why should he be playing football? What, because he's a boy? He should be playing football. Nobody ever said to me, your daughter should be dancing. But the amount of times I got told, your son should be playing football. He played outside. They both played outside. They made mud pies, and I took them swimming every summer. They had a great outdoor life, but I'm not going to push my child to do something they don't want to do. They have to go to school, or they had to go to school, should I say, and they had to do their homework. Other than that, you're not obliged to make them go to brownies or scouts if they don't want to go. I just tried to give my children... I'm going off at a tangent here. I've got ADHD. 1,000,000%. I know I've got it. I go off at tangents all the time. I do try to bring it round to the original subject, but I don't always succeed. But another thing that kind of just surprised and shocked and worried me was got hay fever kicking in now as well. So I was literally just out, took my little doggy, what I'd hardly call it, for a walk, but it just dragged me along. And there was approximately a 2-year-old, 4-year-old and 6-year-old, I'd say. And the youngest, the 2-year-old, was just wearing a nappy and nothing else. And they kind of looked a bit lost, these kids. So I stood and watched for a while, and I probably looked like an utter fucking weirdo. But my mum instincts kicked in, and I was concerned, are these kids all right? So I watched them for a little bit, waiting for somebody to pounce on me and say, what are you doing? And they didn't seem to know which house to knock on. I just was very worried. Anyway, they knocked on a house, somebody answered the door, they came away. And as they were coming away from the house, I just called across, I said, are you all right, sweetie? To the girl. And she said, yes. And I was, okay. So I said, it's all right. Sweetie, I was just wondering if you're okay. That's all. Yes. And fair enough, I taught my children, do not speak to strangers, do not go in strangers' cars. If somebody says, your mother sent me to pick you up, you do not get in the car. You wait to hear from me myself, or a member of our family. And I can understand, maybe these kids have been told don't speak to strangers. But when you see 3 young children looking out of place without a parent in sight, all I wanted to know is, are you okay? Yes, thank you. That's fine, that would have done it. Because then if they had needed some form of help, I could have offered it. But maybe it's because they've been taught not to speak to strangers. That's fine, but I don't know, it concerned me that I'm glad I stopped, and I'm glad I asked, but did I do the right thing? And definitely for a man wouldn't have been able to stop, I don't think, and ask if those children were okay, because of the way society sees people now. And all these labels, don't start me on the labels. As I said previously, I identify as a doorbell and my pronouns are ding and dong. Yeah. I find the whole pronoun business just, I'm sorry, I can't be dealing with it. I'm not a cis woman, I'm just a woman, end of. Don't even get me started on all of that crap. But all I'd say is, 1, it's fucking hard having a newborn baby in the house. It's even harder having a newborn baby in the house when you already have a toddler. That's even harder. And teach your children to be polite. If someone asks, where's mummy or daddy, are you okay? You don't need to scowl and... I don't know. You all tell me. Did I do the wrong thing? Stopping and asking? I think we're mostly females here. Would you have stopped and asked a 2-year-old wearing just a nappy, a 4-year-old, and a maximum 6-year-old on their own, with no one around in sight for quite a long way? Would you have stopped and asked if they were okay? Don't understand life anymore. I just really don't understand what's the right thing to do, what's the wrong thing to do. But I don't know. I hope you've all had a nice bank holiday weekend. I will be back soon with another look on life. I won't go on any longer, so I don't like these videos to be too long. But when you gift somebody a whole load of things, is expecting a thank you too much? Maybe we can talk about that in the next one. Puppy dog is out for the count. I don't know if you can see him. Head this end. There he is. So, namaste, my gorgeous friends. God bless. Take care, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye now.